How many times have you embarked on something new? A new job, a new business venture, a new relationship, or a new chapter in your life, and looked back years later and thought, I wish I knew better, or I wish I could have done that differently, right? Well, where do you get help in those times? This could be a moment where having a personal coach is right for you. But what does a personal coach actually do? And how do you know if you found the right person? In this episode, Rose Slam Johnson is going to answer all those questions for us because that is exactly what she does. I even signed myself up for a first session with her while we were doing this interview. And somehow I also very impulsively announced that I would share that session on a future podcast. Yeah, I do things like that. But if you want to take the plunge with me, you can find Slam through her website, nimblerootscoaching.com, and on Facebook, search for Nimble Roots Coaching and sign yourself up for her next workshop called Map Your Life Blueprint, coming up on February 24th. Links for tickets can be found in the description of this podcast, so definitely check that out. And now, let's meet Slam. How are you doing, Slam?
Hey, I'm doing well.
All right, good.
Sunny here.
Good to talk to you. Where are you based out of?
I'm in Oakland, California.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm here in Orange County.
Oh, nice. It's probably a little warmer there than it is here, but it's nice and warm today.
Right. So good. Thanks for making time to be on the podcast. You're a personal coach. Tell me, what is your specialty? Who are your clients? What do you do?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So I work with folks that are entrepreneurs. They're either launching their business that they've been meaning to get to for a really long time, or another development of something they've been working on for a long time. So they're really in the brand new, oh shit phase of work.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, that's me too, right? We're all there. And that's the interesting thing about 2020 is everybody is there more than ever right now.
Right.
So it's a really beautiful time. And it's been so fun to see folks that are, finally, it's like there's like a certain line that was drawn and people are like, okay, what matters? And people are really stepping up to that line right now. And it's beautiful and inspiring and touching.
Yes. Okay. So I am sure that in this last year, you have probably encountered a lot of people, maybe your own existing clients, who are challenged with having to reinvent themselves, reinvent their business. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's totally. So, I mean, I had been working as a manager in a bakery, in a gluten-free bakery right before the pandemic hit. And I had been working in the food industry for a long time. And I was kind of like doing my own personal MBA, right? And I was like gonna switch from that to bakery to like just find another job. And on the weekend before shelter in place, I took this 4-day coaching course with the Academy of Coaching Excellence and gained a box load of tools that I could use with clients. And so as I was thinking, okay, and this is when I'm going to start applying for jobs. I know how to apply for jobs. I know how to get a full-time job. It's going to be great. I was like, oh, this is not going to work. The environment has shifted and the jobs that I was in conversation with don't exist anymore. Suddenly, right? Like literally within a week, talking to people, okay, yeah, that could work. That could work. We're pausing indefinitely, right? So I was like, okay, the first thing I did was go back to what I know, which I had a bookkeeping background. I was like, all my bookkeeping colleagues are still having clients. Okay, let's get the bookkeeping going so I've got some stable income. Did some cold calling of bookkeeping companies and was like, hey, do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help? Got some weird leads, but really nothing. And then like months later, somebody called me back and was like, actually, we do need your help. And so that has been some stability came from there, found some clients who made it work. And in the meantime, continued my study with the coaching program and launched my coaching services. And so I have a background in business. I've launched my businesses before, an event-based business. And so people were like, already knew that I was up to stuff. And they're like, oh, we want your help on this. So that's really how I pivoted in this time.
Yeah. So give me an idea of what kind of clients you deal with. What are their industries or what are their backgrounds?
Sure. So I work with artists, builders, people that are entrepreneurs of all sorts, people that make things, that create things. I'm trying to go through them in my head. They're people we got herbalists and artists and all sorts of folks out there that are doing it. And they're like, okay, I'm ready. what do I do? You know, like, okay, some things are working. In some ways, like the clients are like, everything's fine. It's just not excellent. And in other ways, they're like, I'm tripping about my debt or my finances, or I don't even know what to do.
Yeah. A whole range of issues, I'm sure. And challenges. I shouldn't say issues, challenges, right? That's the right word.
Right. Challenges, right? They're like, you can get through them. It's just like, how hard is it going to be?
Sure. So let's talk about early stage companies, the people who are like, yeah, I want to do this. Because probably a lot of people are like thinking, you know, this is the time. Might as well right now.
Yeah.
I may not be able to, you know, get the job that I want in the next 6 months, and maybe I don't even want to go sit behind a desk anymore. You know. So let's talk about that. I'll let you take it from there.
Well, one of my frames that has given me a lot of peace of mind is make whatever environment you're in the environment you want to be in, or pretend like it's the environment, and that so you can actually work hard. You know, I've been in situations before where I'm like, it's my boss's fault, it's my employee's fault, like they're just not cooperating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'm offering something to the general public, they're not interested, it's their fault. Right? Have you ever had a thought like that?
I've been there. I've probably been that person, I should say.
Well, and I think all of us have. It comes from a young part of ourselves, right? Where there were moments where we might have previously been in those situations where we couldn't do anything, but now we're in a situation where we can, right? Where we have agency more so than we did when we were little kids. And so I'm all about figuring out how you can act in this moment as if you have it all. And but I don't mean like big house, big boat. I mean like you have your dreams have come true. You're running the business you want. You have the work-life balance that you want. Like, how can you bring that in small, sweet steps right now to this moment?
Okay.
It's as small as like taking a deep breath before you write an email. Like, even if your boss is breathing down your back, you can get that breath, you know, and just finding those small ways to start implementing your practices.
Okay. Awesome. How about for the people that are, you know, going to start a new venture all on their own? Like, you know what, I'm good at this. I'm good at woodworking. I'm good at something that probably I can do out of my house. And I'll tell you from my own experience, I was involved in another startup a few years ago, and it was my first real, business venture where I had borrowed money, and I had developers, I had expenses, I had people I had to pay, and I was trying to educate myself on what it is to be an entrepreneur, what it is to have a tech startup. Can you identify, don't worry about this. You may read this, you may hear this all the time. Forget about it. Just, this is the path to go forward and you'll be okay. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to learn everything. You don't have to be expert at everything. And definitely don't take that advice. Do you have anything like that?
Well, you'd have to give me some advice first for me to shut it down. But let me just start from scratch with the things that I think really work. And the number one tool that I use with my clients is creating a vision. What do you want to happen? What do you want it to look like? And getting into the details. So, I use the example of like, describe the car, and don't just describe what make and model it is, but like, what does it feel like to sit in the seat? What does the steering wheel feel like? What does it smell like? How clean is your windshield? Like, get into all these, what radio station is playing, like imagine that you're really in that car. And I encourage people to do the same thing with whatever venture they're taking on. And, people come to coaching because they want to launch a business, but they also sometimes come to coaching because they want to improve the relationships in their lives, or they want to clean up their money issues, leaks, or whatever, right? And so just like taking the first step of like really imagining it, and then like writing it down, drawing it out, collaging it, whatever is your jam, doodle it, put it, have the background of your screen, have it be the password on your email so that you're typing it every time. I remember when I had a financial goal, I made I made this much money in 2020 was my password. You can guess how many zeros were in that password. No, I'm just kidding. Like really making that vision something you have to interact with every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Interact with every day, right? Number one, know where you're going. Number two, get support along the way. Like I'm a coach. If I don't have a coach, like what am I talking about? So I've got my support team, and I'm here to support other people. And I encourage other people you're up to something new and you're getting stuck in your head's like, oh, here we are again. We can never do this right. Somebody else knows how to do it better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody cares about this. Like, this isn't actually important to anybody but me. I'm the fool. Like, work with somebody that's going to help you stop thinking those thoughts. Like, you don't have to think every thought that comes up in your head, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The two ones. And then third, small, sweet steps, right? Like, all you have to do is get started. Have you ever had that? You're like, I don't want to clean my room, or I don't want to fold my laundry. I've got a bag full of clean laundry and I just don't want to fold it. It's like, well, what happens if I just fold 3 pairs of socks? Something happens. One of two things happen. One is 3 pairs of socks get folded and I'm a little bit closer to my laundry being folded. The other thing that happens is I like turn on a podcast and I get lost in the podcast, and then I look back and I've actually like swept my floor and, cleaning the dishes at the same time, because I just like got lost in this thing that I know how to do and is familiar and is rewarding, even if I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is the transformation isn't just about, hey, I have this great idea and let me figure out all the tactical strategies for implementing it. It's a behavioral change. It's a mindset change. And I mean, and of course a lifestyle change, but it seems like that's going to happen whether you like it or not. What I'm hearing from you is create the right tone, set the right vibration so it happens in the way you want.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over and over again. Yeah.
Make that part of your practice.
Yeah.
And like, we are relational beings. Do not do this alone. Like, our head is not a fun party to be at, right? At least mine. I mean, sometimes it is, but most of the time when I'm doing something hard, and when I say hard, I mean it's like new and it's important, right? Like, that's hard.
Yeah. My
brain goes, don't do that, please. I don't like change. We don't like success. Let's be small, right? Like, our brain is very, very from back in the day, and it's full of old habits that don't necessarily serve the entrepreneurial lifestyle or the innovation that this world calls for right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, so how does one go about finding the right mentor? How do you know that you've go for it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So a lot of coaches offer free discovery sessions. They're anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour long. And you can, I think if you do a Google search of like coaches, life coaches, work coaches, business coaches, whatever, you'll get endless amounts of coaches. And most of them offer this free session, and you get to so that's how I found my mentors. I just called and did a bunch of discovery calls. And in the process, I learned what do I like about a discovery call? It influenced how I wanted to do discovery calls. I also called people that were colleagues and just asked to have a conversation about what they were up to. I don't know, you got me on here. Like, people love to talk. It's easy. You know how it is to get people to talk. And then, you build this network. I built this network, right? Like, I've called old coworkers, I've called old bosses, and I've definitely called a bunch of coaches that I've never met before and been like, what do you work? Like, who do you work with? What's it like? And then I get to feel what it's like. And then I know. I remember when I found my coach, I had 3 discovery calls scheduled after that. And at the start of each one, I was like, I hope this person isn't it. I hope, because I was like, I already found my coach. So it was kind of I think I canceled the last one. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm good. I found my click. And that person has been super supportive the whole way through.
Yeah. So, would you say that there's some similarities to finding a good partner, just a life partner or companion?
That's a great question.
Okay. I'm gonna color that question a little bit. And I'm also, as you can see by my background image, I'm also a musician. And I always tell my girlfriend, you're only one of 4 relationships that I'm involved with. The other 3 happen to be my bandmates.
Yep.
And I've heard this analogy, a similar analogy anyway, made about finding business partners. It's not always just about their skill sets and are they going to be doing the work that you can't do. There's a whole other. It's a relationship. It's a relationship is good that if it goes well, it'll last your whole life, right? Yep. So yeah, that's my question. Carry on.
That's great. So one of the first tools that I learned about from the Academy of Coaching Excellence is the green lens. It's this these 5 statements about people, and I teach this with my coaching clients, but basically it's realizing that the person in front of me is a hero, whole and complete. This person has goals and dreams and a desire to make a difference. This person is contributing to you right now. This person has their own answers, and this person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. So that's the lens that I use when working with other people. Do I remember that lens at every single moment? No, I don't. But there are moments in the grocery store where somebody's taking forever in the grocery line, and I'm having, what I call the red lens thoughts, where I'm like, God, this person has no clue what they're doing. And then I just take in that there's probably some contribution that's coming to me at the same time, right? And so that was a tool that helped me find the partnership that I'm in, and I'm happily committed and have built a beautiful life with another person. And I was in a lot of really difficult, challenging relationships before then. Some were beautiful, some were challenging, some were both.
Sure.
And I didn't have the green lens at the time. And the green lens has helped me really settle into that. And I haven't had a business partner in a while. I've been doing this. Well, I mean, I worked with companies where, I see everybody in some way as a partner, but I haven't had that formal, we are the 2 people running this business. And I remember looking for that a lot when I first started my business, because I was looking for that companionship, and I found somebody, and we ended up being both romantically and businessly involved. And that was great for the amount of time that it was great for. And I, as I've been here now, I'm thinking like, oh, if I wanted to collaborate with somebody, like, what do I want to do? Right. And I'm all about that. Like, I think there's like an actual percentage that people say, but like 75% is good enough. So I'm all about like, hey, do you want to teach this class together? And let's just like see how that goes. Right. Or you could do even like less of engagement. Like, do you want to try meeting weekly and hold each other accountable for something? Right. And then you can just like feel somebody out. Like, is this, do I enjoy this person? Do I have the experience of them holding me under the green lens? Like, am I feeling like my best self? Am I, how can I help? Right. And just like feeling into that relationship, both romantic, professionally, casually, like all of the above.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that similar to how I described the other piece? I don't know.
No, it certainly resonates. It absolutely does. So now I'm getting curious about something else. How did you decide one day, I can be a coach, or I want to be a coach, or maybe somebody told you, you'd be really good at being a coach. Tell me about that.
Sure. I avoided it for a really long time. I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to tell anybody I'm a coach. And that was kind of my first sign that I wanted to be a coach. Yeah, people gave me the feedback. I remember, I used to run a program called Queer Camp, which was my event production business. So we put on summer camps for adults, folks over the age of 18 that identified as LGBT or were an ally and wanted to come and just celebrate queer culture. So they were like 4-day, 5-day of camping events, like a summer camp. Did you go to summer camp when you were a kid?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So it was like that. And it was like summer camp, but it was for adults, and it was really fun. And we had like arts and crafts and skits and stories and all sorts of silly stuff. And in that process, people would come to me with kind of questions about their lives, or, there were sometimes conflicts with other people at camp at the event, or people would kind of contact me if they were like struggling with various challenges that we face in life. So there were moments where I was in the opportunity and in the position to be advising people or supporting them or encouraging them. And it was after I took the Mastering Life's Energies through the Academy of Coaching Excellence, I was like, oh, what they're doing is really effective. What I was doing was really hard work and was maybe a little bit effective, but not really. And so it was when I started working with that program where I was like, okay, they have the path. They have walked the path, and they, the lead teacher has been doing this for 50 years, and her team has been doing it for a really long time, and they're really effective. And I was impacted by their offerings. And so once I saw that, I was like, okay, I love businesses. I love starting businesses. I love being in business and creating. We're always creating something new in business, right? You're creating new music, you're creating new tours. Like it's constantly creative. And so I realized that this was an opportunity to both hone my skills as a support person for other people, and also just another business that I could launch, and that was appropriate for this time. Working with one-on-one people one-on-one is really fun, and also just like I love teaching, so I get to do workshops or do book studies, or there's just like a lot of opportunity from this place that I can go from here. So it seemed like it made a lot of sense for where I was, what 2020 was looking like, what people were asking for, and the gifts I wanted to bring to the world.
So are you saying that you just started coaching in 2020?
I put out my shingle in 2020.
Oh, okay. So what were the kind of things that people were asking for where you said, you know what, I can do that. I can help them. I'm going to step up to this. What were those things?
Like this in 2020, what were people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have started working with a number of people that I was calling for other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I called a contractor because I needed help working on a housing project. I called an artist because I needed help with an art project, right? And then those are the folks that are actually like, oh, actually, I'm too busy to help you because I can't quite figure out how to run my business, but can you help me run my business? And then I can help you or help other people. And so those are some of the ways that it unfolded.
Okay. Wow. So Slam, I know you have to get to another call. This is what I would like to do. I would like to schedule a discovery session with you. Can we do that?
Let's do it.
And I'll even stick my neck out. We'll record it and we'll put it out there. We'll make it part of this podcast.
You're so courageous.
Okay. So to be continued, everyone.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Y'all soon.
Have a good one.